Again.
I am Crystal Brown. I am the mom of Braden Brown, who is an 11-year-old funny little boy. My husband is an Austin firefighter, and he is also a member of Texas Task Force 1. We are a fire family. We are a first responder family. We don't depend on any type of government assistance other than for our medically fragile son, who's 11. We do have 2 other kids. I've learned a lot today. I've been here since 9:45 this morning. I'm hungry and I'm ready to go. But there are MDCP, medically dependent children, families listening and watching this today, so I'm going to advocate for them. What I've learned is I'm a little bit embarrassed that we are ranked number 2. We are at the we're not ranked number 2. We're at the very bottom of the barrel when it comes to health care. MCOs, HHSC, go there monthly, if not more than monthly, to all the work group meetings, to all the Star Kids Advisory Committee meetings, and what I've learned is I want to work for the state of Texas. I want your contract. I'm 35 years old. I've got tons of knowledge, and I wouldn't have to provide you any information whatsoever. That's what I learned today. I can avoid your questions, push back timelines, and still make millions. And I'm sad because my son and many other children are suffering. You know how Superior came up with $30 million in bonuses? They cut therapies, private duty nursing hours. They've messed with kids going to school by cutting their nursing. So kids are staying home now instead of getting an education, all because of the decisions that y'all have made when it comes to managed care organizations. And instead of asking us questions like I've talked to Charles Smith face to face and said, you need to call me. You need to call me because you figure out how to fix this from the ground up, not from the top down. And you're making decisions that are going to eventually kill children, and it's going to come back on you. It's not, you are borderline. Priscilla, who talked earlier, you know when she got her KEPA for her son? Monday, after she showed up to the meeting at HHSC. Monday. She had no doses left. None. And she gave her son half a dose the night before. The only reason that woman walked out with that drug is because she went face to face at HHSC and said, I am out of medication. That's what it comes to. So she called Superior and said, I need this drug for my son, otherwise he's going to go in status epileptic. And did they do anything? No. She showed up in person to HHSC to get her answer resolved. I mean, it's sad what it's coming to. And I think you all know it, and I gave you a huge packet. Those are issues from all Star Kids parents. Issues, pages and pages. Braden's information is in there. It's not just about Braden. I can't just talk about my own son because they're managed care organizations with the SKSAI, which it's in there. It's their screening and assessment tool, have kicked out and refused to provide us information. We've asked for 6 months straight, so you've asked for information, the state, and they haven't given it to you. We've asked for it monthly, and they refuse to give us exactly how many kids, based on their screening and assessment tool, have actually been kicked out of the program. We know it's in the hundreds, and in MDCP alone, there's only 5,600 kids in Texas. So they're kicking kids out who have Down syndrome and many others. I mean, that was one of the other things that I couldn't believe how much y'all talked.
Members, any questions?
I have a quick question.
Senator Colquhoun.
You mentioned nurses and schools, and I just want to follow up on that because I think I had a case, or I know I had a case in my district. Prior to managed care, the nurses would go to the school with the child.
They still are. They're supposed to still be allowed because what you run into with a medically fragile child like my kid is, so you have SHARS, so the TEA has SHARS.
Right.
And then we have PDN through our particular program through the MCO. So if I go through SHARS, but Braden gets sick during the school year with pneumonia or the flu like he did and misses 2 weeks of school, there's no way to provide a nurse with no notice to the home instead of the school, because the school cannot provide the nurse in the home, but the managed care. So there's actually in your packet, part of the last pages is HHSC's new direction on how MCOs are not allowed to take or reduce our private duty nursing hours just because our child attends a school in a SHARS participating ISD. Does that make sense?
It does. I think one of the things that I experienced was that the MCO wasn't paying for the nurse to then be with the child at the school.
They're reducing their hours because the child is attending school. They're trying to force the family by using SHARS, but legally they can't do so because then that removes our parental rights for making decisions for our children. So it's against the ARD procedures. Like you can't.
So the question is, and I think this is important, I brought up SHARS during, and this is where we bifurcate these two systems of a school funding formula and then Health and Human Services. And I think that the question was that we're paying the schools and we're paying the MCOs, but we didn't know we were paying the schools. I think,
But you're not. Us parents have to give permission. You are not paying both SHARS and the MCOs. You are only paying the MCOs because during the ARD procedure, and the MCOs are to obtain and acquire the information from our ARD meetings that happen yearly. And the only thing that a school can provide are private care services, or PCS, which is change a diaper and things like that. Like the school nurse, so you have one school nurse on every campus, but say we're in Austin, or let's talk about my little girl's elementary school where Braden goes to. There's over almost 800 students in there. One school nurse. Well, Braden has a seizure, but a kid fell down on the playground and busted his head. Who does she go to first?
Right.
Whatever call comes in first. So you cannot put that on one nurse on campus. So that's why it's better to have, for our children, the private duty nurse present so she can do what Braden needs done simultaneously while the other kid busts their head on the playground.
Right. We went through that situation, which one school nurse can't handle all of that. But
and there are 5 kids in Braden's class as well. There's 5. Braden is in a life skills class, so there are only kids like Braden in that class.
But, in having one nurse, and so that was a little complicated. We've been working through
but
that.
But there cannot be double billing. It's impossible. And if there is, it's not happening. That's just something that's being created. It's not happening because it's impossible to happen.
Thank you, Senator. Members, any other questions of Ms. Brown? Thank you.